Welcome back to the FACEIT Challenger Invitational. I am James Stress O'Leary. Alongside me is Vince Metuz Hill, and we are ready to go into game number 2 here between SK Gaming Prime and Tick, Trick, and Duck.
There you go.
Slow down when I say that.
There you go. Yeah, if you rush that, bad things tend to happen.
Yeah, speed kills and also messes you up when saying silly team names.
It does indeed. They should put that on an advert, to be honest. But we are in the picks and bans now. In the second game, as you said before, between these two teams, game number 1 went very comfortably in the end to SK Gaming Prime. I don't think it's unfair to say that.
No, I don't think that's unfair at all. I have to imagine that there's going to be a Yasuo ban here.
I'd imagine,
They may keep them the same. I'm not saying that Yasuo was the be-all, end-all of why that game went away from TTD. But it was a big factor. The 6-1 Yasuo, the 6-0 Vi. Typically, that just showcased why those champions are banned a lot.
I think Vi might get a ban. I think it warrants a ban. Unless they're planning on picking her first, or Yasuo first, then I think you have to take that away from Parry, because he effectively got top steamrolling ahead.
Yeah.
Like it was very much down to Parry's play. So I would expect to see Vi banned here, to be honest. And if they don't, and they allow Parry to pick Vi again, then they've made a massive error.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things that right now there are so many viable, if you pardon the pun. Okay, there's the Yasuo ban. There are so many good junglers. I think they should be forcing out a Vi ban here. If I'm theory crafting this right, Kassadin's let through, Kha'Zix is let through. Kha'Zix would be the champion that would have been available, which again is an aggressive jungler. Has not the same role as Vi, because it's pure damage on Kha'Zix. But one strong jungler is getting let through here. The other one is Elise, that has now been banned out. So Vi is going to be the first pickup. Yep. You were correct on that one.
It makes sense.
Yep.
When Parry decimates your team with the presence of Vi, even though he got 6 or odd kills or whatever it was, he was just so present in each lane.
Yeah.
And that psychologically puts your lanes at a disadvantage, because you're constantly thinking he could be in the bush and we're about to die. So that's, for me, it's a really smart pick. Either ban or pick it.
Interesting. Now, I don't want to comment too much on this, but the summoner setup for
Ghost
Phantom Joe tells me that whoever they lock in as a top laner is likely to be
Olaf.
Yeah, likely to be Olaf. Someone along that lines
Yep.
doesn't really rely too much on flash. So there's a couple of options. So we'll see how that gets locked in. Now, will we see that Zilean locked in? This would be no. Okay, I was going to say it wouldn't be the first time it's been seen. Steve Bake's Cookies played it the other day in Challenger. Nardius from former Reason played it a heck of a lot. I'm pretty sure it was Nardius.
Yeah,
it was definitely whoever
sure
was playing support on Reason as well.
Right.
So there's so much in the way of Zilean support in Europe, just on a couple of select players. Annie makes more sense. Eve making a bit of a return, has seen play in Challenger yesterday as well. I'm trying to rack my brains on which game that was, but certainly has made a return to the scene.
Yes, very much the case. And looks like they may be rocking out with Leona this time around. Leona is pretty decent against Annie. Hard engage against Annie, who's a squishy support in the lane, would definitely make a lot of sense. But just noticing there, they have switched from the Ghost to teleport
I wonder whether that's to do with... I would hope they're not watching the stream. I would hope that they wouldn't have heard that and that it was just a coincidence. But if you are watching the stream, both of you shouldn't be watching the stream. So stop watching the stream.
Bad guys.
Bad. However...
They might be, because remember, Sonny trolled us with the Corki.
That is true. But Jinx, Leona getting locked in, it is going to cover the weakness of Jinx.
Yes.
Of not being able to escape Leona. However, Annie is still pretty good at landing that stun. Kassadin is available. Changes off Kassadin. We don't get to see Kassadin a lot. And every time I see Kassadin played, I'm like, why have you not banned Kassadin? And now I'm not seeing Kassadin picked up, and I'm like, pick Kassadin and crush them so that we can be like, there's Kassadin's power again.
Well, it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because Kassadin was changed slightly in the last patch. Still a decent enough mid laner, but Aatrox has been played already today as well. Although that wasn't a viewer game, I think.
He has been played in competitive as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so going all the way back to OGN Masters, the first week, the first set of games played by Jun Falcons, they played Aatrox in the top lane. Didn't have success with it. Or did they? No, they didn't have success with it. SK played Aatrox in LCS. Freddy played that. I believe they won that game. And Aatrox was seen yesterday in LCS, but I was traveling and caught some of the games. I can't remember who played it. Aatrox is back in the top lane, is what I'm trying to say.
Ooh. And they've gone back to the Ghost, and they've gone for Tryndamere potentially. So I was thinking Olaf, but Tryndamere also makes a lot of sense.
It does. I don't know how Tryndamere does against Aatrox. That's two champions that don't like to die.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a trash top laner. So, just to be blunt, I'm really bad at top lane, so I couldn't even begin to analyze or dissect that partnering.
They've changed off Tryndamere. We'll see exactly what they lock in. It's going to be Jax, so that's a bit more of a standard top laner. I quite like Jax just in the way he works. Is that Jax will always become relevant in the late game. The later the game goes, the more relevant he becomes. Interesting against the Aatrox. Aatrox is going to survive pretty well with the lifesteal if they can trade, but again, is this going to be a battle of them just hitting each other for a while and then backing away?
Seems to be, because we had Vivasachi playing Jax before against JWoww's Kha'Zix, I think. And it was a very similar kind of affair there. I'd expect to see more of the same here. I would not expect to see that E locked in. I would love it to be locked in because it would be something different and new, but...
Ooh, okay.
You what, mate?
Right, okay.
Placement, maybe.
So... This is... Let's see where they end up swapping. Is that mid lane Yi? Or is that top lane Yi? That's an AD focused... I have a feeling it's going to be mid. That's where I'm expecting it to go. I have a feeling he'd do better in that middle lane against Ziggs. Of course, remember, guys, Master Yi got reworked. So this is not the AP Yi that we saw out of Season 3 from Dignitas. This is AD Yi. Against Ziggs. So Ziggs is a very poke-heavy lane, and I'm wondering, playing a melee range champion into that, in the way that Riven was countered by Ziggs because of the poke damage, surely picking a melee range champion against the look you've got in your face is my mental state right now. Surely picking a melee range champion into one of the most poke-heavy champions in the middle lane strikes me as almost suicidal.
Yep.
Yi will have Alpha Strike available, but remember, if you Alpha Strike with more than 4 targets in the lane, it's then random. You can't be consistent on striking. That means you have to clear some minions from the wave, then use Alpha Strike in the right place to get to the right place where a Alpha Strike animation finishes.
I don't understand this pick. I'm not saying he's a trash mid laner. I'm not like questioning the player's skill with the character. But I like you're playing Yi against Ziggs, unless they're going to switch it up. Maybe they're going to try something strange and put Yi top and Aatrox in mid. I don't know.
But I don't feel like either of those lanes is favorable against the Ziggs.
And Mozilla is their top laner, and Exile is their mid laner, so it's that way around.
To me, there are so many options that were available that are consistent against Ziggs that this might be SK pulling practiced.
Yeah.
This could be something that they've had a little bit of success with in scrims. Again, we unfortunately don't have the privilege of being able to see everything as soon as it appears. And there's probably somebody in chat that sees what they're doing and is screaming at us like, this is what it's for. They're going to cheese him on 5 on red or something like that. And unfortunately, we haven't seen everything in the world, and we don't have Twitch chat available to read and see your feedback on this one.
The old classic of such and such a streamer played this and went 20-0 is like, I haven't personally seen Yi played since he was AP.
Yeah, I have not seen him played since MLG where Scarra played him.
Yeah.
That was the last time I saw it. And there's a reason.
SK Gaming Prime are an extremely good team. As we said before, they've been raising through the ranks alarmingly fast rate. These guys are awesome. I don't see the E pick.
I'm trying to think of the last sets of patch changes just to see whether there's anything that got tweaked, anything that got adjusted, and I can't think of a Master Yi adjustment since the rework. He was strong after the rework because of the reset passive. That's undoubtable. Like his position in the game is still fairly prominent if you can get the reset, but it all is down to getting that initial kill and then snowballing off it. I can see where that works in team fights. You look at the Annie stun into grouping a lot of members together, getting that stun, getting the damage from Alpha Strike, you get the reset and you keep going. That part of the game, I completely see his viability. That is not a question in my mind, but getting there could be an uphill battle.
Exactly. And we saw nowhere near the same level of risk factor last game with Bonaparte's Doran's Blade start, which backfired. This, though, is a game-changing mistake if it backfires. Because then you're effectively in a 4 versus 5 situation. Because Yi does need items to be useful.
Yeah.
He can't run around with nothing and pentakill.
Exactly. I mean, I wonder whether it's a replacement for Yasuo here. With the fact that they both have a very similar build. The mechanics are different, but they have the same kind of snowball potential. I just feel like Yasuo's kit is a little bit better at surviving the lane. And I mean, Exile is a very highly rated mid laner in Europe. I mean, I've had conversations with people saying that's one guy that in solo queue, I actually am afraid of facing in mid. Forget all of the LCS pros, that this guy is like an unrefined kind of talent in that mid lane. So it may be the case that he's practiced it, and it's something that he's particularly good on. But we have to see that as we go into the game.
And their team has bucket loads of kill potential. We haven't even mentioned Evelynn and Aatrox.
Yeah.
Because we've been so caught up with Yi, but Evelynn and Aatrox are going to bring a whole new level of terror and risk assessment to your team that you're going to have to say, okay, in team fights, who do we try and keep away from? There's just so many targets. But, ladies and gents, we are jumping onto the Rift for game number 2 between Tick, Trick, and Duck and SK Gaming Prime. This could be a cracker.
Yeah, now, what will we see on our supports? That's more like it. Okay, Doran's Shield and a Relic Shield.
Yes.
Very, very standard. Again, we, as casters, these little different things in the game, such as Relic Shield, keeping on track. So you'll hear us remind ourselves every now and again, just to make sure that we're not doing that whole, oh, they're behind on CS.
Yeah.
I know there's always a Reddit thread. Every time that somebody builds a Relic Shield in LCS or something, there's always like, note to casters. We do read that. We do take note. So sometimes it slips the mind.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes you do get caught kind of unawares. You're so tunnel visioning into the CS and such that sometimes you just forget there's a Relic Shield there. But we saw it last game, actually, and I believe it was the same. No, it wasn't. It was Leona and Sivir, and the Relic Shield was used to very, very good effect. And I agree with what you said previously in the Champion Select as well, that Leona and Jinx, Leona really does mitigate the problems that Jinx has as a character.
Yeah, and not only that, picking Leona certainly does. Because
Stops
it means
them from taking it.
Exactly. They don't get it, then not only do you have the protection, as you were saying there as well, is that you can lock them down before they get to Jinx. That's one aspect of it. But again, yeah, it's a really nice pairing, actually. And you look at the number of forms of crowd control in that lane. Zap is a slow. You've got the stun out of Leona, the very minor interrupt from the Zenith Blade, then Flame Chompers, Solar Flare, which I think I've already said, but there's
Shield of Daybreak as well.
Yeah, that's extra. Just
Q. Yeah, there's so many forms of CC, whereas you look at the opposition, Annie, there's nothing that's going to be given in that 2v2 CC war from Sivir. So already 6 is going straight into the face. I'm not too sure. He's going to take quite a bit of damage for this one.
Yeah, and this time Bonaparte's actually going to come away with a lot of damage on a surprising amount.
Yeah, Bonaparte stayed a bit too long there, I think. Tried to trade for a bit too long. And Jinx was happier to just try and get some CS, trying to push them towards level 2, which is such a key part of the bot lane. If you hit 2 first, you have a huge advantage.
Oh, yeah, especially in this kind of matchup where there's so much crowd control on Jinx Leona that, if you hit level 2, that's a potential 2 more forms that become available. Look at the damage already in that middle lane. That's what we're talking about. Is it so risky?
Oh, he's flashed in to try and pick up this kill onto Yi, but it's not able to do so, and now risks his own life because he flashed in for that kill. So Perry in the right place at the right time once again is going to get first blood. He's had a phenomenal couple of games so far. Something else I didn't mention, Snow is renowned for his Ziggs play. That's his main character.
Right. Okay, so again, another thing in that middle lane and that was an unforced error. No reason to flash in. If you force your lane opponent out of lane at level 2, level 3, and you can have the time to farm and get the level advantage, you'll hit 6 faster, you'll have the lane advantage, you have everything in your control. Overextending like that is not going to win you the lane.
It's all about greed, though. Greedy for the kill, and it ended up backfiring horribly. Bot lane, there was a couple of glimmers there of why trying to make a play, but then quickly decided against it and just backed on away. So Perry with first blood is going to finish off the Spirit Stone. And you can bet your bottom dollar that he is going to go for that Spirit of the Elder Lizard, and then after that he's just going to try and make some huge plays. Bonaparte actually missed the Zenith Blade there onto Sivir, forces the flash away from 6 though.
That's a fairly important flash for now. I mean, they're not looking to flash Tibbers, of course, only level 3, so not available. But that kind of engage on a gank there for the bottom lane. But Snow might be caught out again.
Man. He still doesn't have his flash, and this is going to continuously happen. If you push past the midpoint and you don't have flash and you're against an Evelyn, who you know can just appear out of thin air, you're going to get punished. And
not only that, is a Yi that can jump to you. As long as you're in range of Alpha Strike and you're that far away from the turret, yes, you'll appear by Ziggs where you end, but if you're that far from the turret, you're in no danger anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So it's gone from bad to worse for Ziggs. He's now coming back to the lane. Finds himself over 10 CS behind, in fact just under 10 I should say. Maths, not my strong point. But a long way behind in terms of gold. And again, with that double kill and the first blood from Evelyn, that is going to transition very nicely to that mid-game status for Evelyn in the next couple of minutes. And that's where the terror will really begin once she hits level 6.
And I feel like it could be worse. If those 2 kills had gone on to Master Yi,
that's true,
then that would snowball even heavier. It's bad enough having 2 kills on an Evelyn, who is now roaming up to the top lane. He's going to be followed by Vi, but he's going to be there way, way faster.
Phantom Joe in a very sticky situation, but will be flashing and leap striking away. Here is Eye Nightmare to try and pick up the pieces right now. Needs to be careful because Perry has flash, does pick up that kill, the 3rd in this game, so he is going to give and yield shutdown gold if he falls down. Not going to happen though, as Mozilla comes in, and that was a flash away from Perry.
Phantom Joe was out. He was out of that engagement.
Yeah.
And he stopped and was looking to provide support against an Evelyn who you can counter, use that counter. There's the engage up in the top lane.
Okay. Yeah, that's the power of Aatrox, but it's going to be forced to flash away, so it wasn't a complete clean kill.
I'm scratching my head at that engagement from Jax because Eve doesn't care that you're going to stop her auto attacks. Hate Spike is going to rip through you.
It's a bit of a head scratcher, isn't it?
A little bit.
This whole game's been a head scratcher from Champion Select, though, with the Master Yi pick.
It's working so far.
It is. You definitely can't deny that, although heavily in part to Evelyn. So Perry, again, you give him an aggressive jungler, and he's going to do just that. He is going to make the ganks happen and the kills as a result. So bot lane, we're talking about Bonaparte and Sunny's combination and how it would work. But so far, just a 5 CS advantage, and they're going to be able to put down some damage. But it's only a matter of time, I have to feel, before Evelyn does go to bot.
Yeah, I really do feel that that is the case. And there is a pink ward down on that middle river brush, which will spot Evelyn out. But that'll only catch her once. I mean, it's good that you'll catch her, but you have to keep investing in it. And that's very, very expensive to do. And I'm just trying to figure out where the gold's going to come from for them to actually do that. They're 2,000 gold down already, and we're only 7 minutes into this game.
Yeah, 3-0 Evelyn already with Spirit of the Elder Lizard completed. So if you thought the hate spikes were bad before, they're about to get a whole lot worse. Coming back to top lane again as this stun lands on Sunny from 6. He'll be face-checking that bush. Wrong place at the wrong time. Phantom Joe has been caught out of position, doesn't have the flash available, and that is Perry on a rampage.
That's impressive play already out of and Eve tries to spell shield in the bottom lane.
Here's the CC you were talking about before. Flame Chomper's Shield of Daybreak, and this should be severe falling down. Will indeed be the case. So Sunny has managed to pick up the first kill for Tick, Trick, and Duck. So they do manage to notch one down there. But still, the rest of the map is spiraling out of control.
Can TTD get themselves a big enough lead in the bottom lane to... Oh, Solar Flare doesn't land.
But the Zenith Blade does. And as Jinx says bye-bye, picks up that second kill, and Bonaparte survives. So they're going to have to put their backpacks on here at bot lane and carry the rest of their team.
And now it looked like there was a roam down towards that dragon area. They were just cleaning out the ward, but TTT need to get their bottom lane far enough ahead to actually be able to carry here. And it's difficult, though, when there's a 4-0 Evelyn and a 1-0 Aatrox that is winning lane pretty significantly now. And it's just a case of not letting those solo lanes run away, because then it's difficult for a bottom lane to really deal with anything.
And this is where the multiple threats, I think, really comes into fruition. Because Evelyn's 4-0, Leona's going to be trying her best to keep Evelyn off Jinx. That Master Yi and Aatrox are going to be free to do whatever they want. You can't keep all three of these characters down. As I'm speaking, actually, the engage comes at top lane. Mozilla does not have his passive, so he will be falling for my nightmare.
Master Yi's got a Spirit Stone, so I have to assume that that's going to go towards Elder Lizard.
Yeah.
But this is completely new to me.
Yeah, I would have expected something like a Vampiric Scepter, maybe?
Yeah, or Static Shift. Typically, that's what we saw the reworked Yi's build.
And here comes the gank, the pretty much telegraphed gank, it has to be said, from SK Gaming Prime, but they still managed to pick up that kill, and more importantly, Yi got the kill. Yeah,
that is the big important thing there. Dragon's going to go down as well, and Yi's going to return to mid lane to make sure that that turret doesn't fall. And I wonder, I'm wondering whether that is... Yeah, it must be Elder Lizard. I'm trying to think, because they nerfed the health regeneration. So he's definitely not building AP, and there'd be no need to build Golem. So
AP doesn't scale with anything anymore.
No, exactly.
So it would make absolutely no sense for him to build AP.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. It kind of has to be Elder Lizard, but at that point I'm like, I don't know. Again, this is so different to what we normally see, and it's kind of throwing me for a loop on this. I
guess if you went like Elder Lizard and then Static Shiv or Blade of the Ruined King, the idea is that the more auto attacks you get off, the more damage you'll do as a result. So maybe that's the idea behind it. But I am a bit surprised he didn't go for Vampiric Scepter first. However, again, these are the Challenger players, so I can't really delve into my my Master Yi guide and say this is the way you should play him.
And funnily enough, there's actually another interesting build that this actually I have seen before. The Bilgewater Cutlass on Eve, which typically doesn't sound very good, but I'll explain it in a sec.
Yeah, big fight kicking off at bottom as Bonaparte is trying to focus out 6. And is leaving his AD carry to his own devices, who has to back on away. Perry comes up, gets the unstoppable. So that is 5 consecutive kills without a death. Phantom Joe and iNightmare trying to go one better onto Mozilla, who is going to be falling down here into his passive. The question is, can he make a play after coming out of the death chamber momentarily? iNightmare's taking quite a bit of damage here, but he's going back towards his own tower. Nice flash through, and he should be able to survive.
Yeah, he will get away from that. That's going to be a turret going down in the bottom lane as well. Okay, so Eve with a Bilgewater Cutlass means you can stick to whoever you choose. Agony's Embrace is a big slow already. You land the damage. You Bilgewater Cutlass. You land the damage. And you continually chase and deal so much damage that your target can never get away.
Yeah, and again, that is going to force Leona to just focus Evelyn.
And you constantly deal the true damage as well from Elder Lizard. So this is a build that I have seen. I believe it was played in Challenger last night as well. I think Kobe was talking about it on stream. So it's one of those things that it is a departure from the AP way of building Eve, but it is a very unique way of doing things.
Yeah, so the more we're seeing this game transition into the mid stages, the more this Master Yi pick makes sense.
Yeah.
Because of the composition that they're running. I think this is one of the only ways that E would make sense, to be honest.
Yeah, the other option is very similar to how APE used to work, and that is you take a CC heavy composition to ensure you get the first kill, and then you follow through. So when APE was, I'm privileged enough to have this information and feel like I can say it because nobody can ever play APE anymore. So when Dignitas used to run APE, it all hinged on that initial kill. You had a team composition based around it. Ash Arrow was perfect initiation. You followed up, get the kill, get the reset, continue. Without that CC, it didn't work. This is a slightly different way of playing it.
This is going to be the shutdown gold on Snow. That is massive. So for all of the harassment, all the camp he had to deal with in the early stages, that shutdown gold of 5 kills from Evelyn is going to go some way to stabilize the poor start.
The linchpin here really is that first kill in teamfights. Like, they can do as well as they want to at this point. If they can't win teamfights, if they don't get resets, if Yi gets shut down, that's pretty much teamfight over for them. There's almost no way of fighting a team fight if Yi is dead.
Yeah, and at some point, even though Jax hasn't had the greatest of starts in this, as we said before, will be relevant late game. And if Jax gets big, then Yi or Evelyn will get blown up by him. They're not going to be able to deal with him very well.
Especially when you consider that almost every member of SK is AD. Yes, Evelyn will deal mixed damage, but she's heavily built towards AD. You can see her using it to try and stick to Snow, but that's a lot of not magic damage.
Well,
so you can itemize.
The engage on Mozilla at top again. It looks like they've picked their man to just force down when they get Jax rolling into this game. So definitely a good decision from My Nightmare. And more importantly, they are picking up the kills. It's not like they're going for ganks, not getting anything out of it, not yielding any rewards. Bot lane though, Solar Flare comes down. Sunny's taking so much damage from Civ. Does go down in the end. They're looking for the double kill. Meanwhile, in mid, Mega Inferno Bomb lands and Snow still goes down. Six is still after Bonaparte, flashing through the wall onto his own tower. And he should be okay here, but just global devastation.
Oh, Perry's looking for a kill here on Phantom Joe.
Well, does he have the raw damage, or is this going to backfire? Because Phantom Joe is actually fighting back, does loads of damage. Ignite ticks down, and he picked the wrong person to mess with.
A big hit off that empowered auto attack, and as soon as he chunked him, Perry knew what was up there. And that's one of the problems here, as Bonaparte's probably going to get taken down here. Not really too much of a way out. That's one of the problems there of building so much in AD, is your hate spike is not going to be penetrating through Jax quite as much as you would like it to. When you take into account that there are a couple of auto attacks, there's a fight in the bottom lane though.
Yeah, there's the rocket coming through, and that is going to get Jinx excited. Now going on to Sivir. The zap comes down, will be blocked out, but double kill for Sunny. So for all of the phenomenal play early from Perry, there's only 2 kills in this game now. Jinx is 4-1.
I kind of feel like this team composition for SK hasn't accelerated fast enough, and now, again, they're overconfident they're overconfident in the fact that they got early kills, but they haven't taken this to team fights where they need to team fight and take objectives. 1v1s is not enough for them because alone they cannot take objectives.
Well, engage here from Mozilla and Perry onto Phantom Joe, who is actually nearly taking down Mozilla by himself. Does finally get put in his place though. So it just goes to show that Jax is getting big.
But in exchange for this, unless they push the tower, they're getting nothing. They're losing a dragon.
That's a very good point. Dragon has gone down. What I would say, though, is there's nobody on the side right now of Tick, Trick, and Duck to deal with this top push. So the tower's probably going to fall. Yeah,
I think it's good that they've stacked both of them. At the time, Perry was recalling until they had confirmation that the dragon had gone down. So that there is an adjustment to what they were planning to ensure they get something from that. So a good little play there by SK. They now look to switch to the middle lane Bonaparte. Ooh, Perry doesn't want to go aggressive. Okay, so it looks like their mentality shifted slightly. It looks like they're now more committed to objective-focused play.
Yep. They don't want to give any more kills away here. They've just gone down to find out the dragon has indeed been taken. And they're probably going to be able to guess around what time. They're going to know within 30 seconds when dragon will respawn.
Ooh. Yep, that is going to be an engage.
Yep, 6 has been caught. Well, there's no ways escaping this. Sunny gets another kill. And slowly but surely, this Jinx is getting massive, actually.
And that's a problem, because Jinx scales incredibly well with these kills. I would expect, just looking at the stat line plus items in kit, it's probably quite a lot of gold on Jinx right now, to the point where I would expect the static shiv to be completed in the next 2 minutes. If it's not, I would be incredibly surprised.
Well, there's definitely going to be some components built here and there, because Sivir with 2 and 2 has only got a Zeal over Jinx. So I would imagine that you're right. It's probably going to be static shiv instantly picked up here. There you go.
Yeah, bought. Okay. Yeah, straight away. Full buy on that static shiv.
So she's coming back to the lane now, and Sivir cannot deal with Jinx. Not in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and that's a problem if you're Sivir. And Mozilla's going to go aggressive again. This time Nightmare's here.
He's being so heavily camped, so he's doing a fair bit of damage back, but has he bought himself enough time for Exile? This could be the turning point right now. Flashing away is Phantom Joe, and somehow Mozilla is still alive. Look at this, stutter stepping, orb walking, whatever you want to call it. Backing away, keeping his life up, but for every big play at top, there's a big play at bot from the opposition of Sunny. We
talked about it. Sunny just can do whatever they want in that bottom lane right now, because so far ahead. That was brilliant, as you said, stutter step out of Aatrox. Of course, remember, every third auto attack from Blood Pact Blood Price is going to give you that extra lifesteal under half. It'll give you extra lifesteal. Under half of your health, it'll give you 200% of your lifesteal. So it means every third attack, which are coming up pretty quickly now, is going to heal you a significant amount. Take into account Hydra is there as well. So if you're standing in minions, that is going to heal you so much.
Yeah, very much the case. And because they have also picked up the secondary tower at top lane, there's probably a big chance that Aatrox is going to start to roam to other lanes, because you can see him right now going down bot lane. His work has been done at top. He doesn't need to go back up there unless they have the intention of taking down the inhibitor. So if he starts pushing bot lane, in turn, you're going to see Jinx not get as many kills on Sivir. Sivir can now roam to mid. So that big threat that we're talking about of Sunny just decimating is no longer really there.
One thing to pick up on in this game, it's a little bit different from the build choices. Sunny's going to be able to, turn this one around.
My goodness, that damage was absolutely huge. And now Sunny's got one better onto Exile. This is beautiful play from Sunny. Can he manage to survive against 6 as well? He's so nearly dead. Finally gets shut down. But my goodness, that was awesome from Sunny.
He just took out the 2 members of Tick Trick and of SK Gaming Prime that should be able to 1v1 him. But he's been given so many kills that he's able to fight his own battles.
And now he's got the components of a Last Whisper at 20 minutes. When that Last Whisper is finished, no one is safe. Everyone will be a target for Sunny's Jinx. Mozilla, Valiant, and also 6 are trying their best to pick up this tower. There goes the Assault and Battery onto 6. Now jumping back in again. Mozilla is so tanky with all this lifesteal that he's got, all this sustain. He does go down into his passive, and now Snow is the person that is getting smashed upon. But he should be okay.
They will get out of this one. I think Leona should be fine as well. What does Vanilla? No, that's too aggressive. Got the kill, though.
And here comes Bonaparte from the side. We'll be picking up that first kill. Sunny gets the second.
Yeah, I was going to say that's far too aggressive. I wasn't sure what was really going to be the result of that one, but they knew that Jinx had respawned. And that's very dangerous to flash forward as a Sivir, because you really have no escape. You're only basing on the hunt movement speed as your escape at that point. But there's a little itemization difference on the junglers, and this kind of reminds me of the end of Season 3, seeing Spirit of the Ancient Golem, Locket of the Iron Solari. So you'd say, that's a standard jungle build path, especially against, the champions they're going against. But typically, these days, Locket of the Iron Solari, economy-wise, is non-efficient. Same with Aegis of the Legion. It received a nerf and is not the most efficient way of building. However, the aura right now is needed for TTD. They need to make sure that as many of them have the resistances as possible to survive through the initial damage, because as long as they can survive the initial onslaught, Jinx will clean up. That is unquestionable.
The question now is Bonaparte up to the task of protecting? Is he up to the task of being that bodyguard?
Well, Face of the Mountain has been completed, I think. I'm pretty sure that's the Face of the Mountain icon. If not, Phase the Mountain will be completed fairly soon, which will, of course, give another shield. Locket is another shield. The resistances from the Locket of the Iron Solari as well is going to go a long way. Last Whisper just got completed as well. So, boy, that's a lot of teamfight potential out of TTD.
And all the meanwhile, Jax is getting more and more farm. Has Triforce. We go for the Blade of the Rune King next. And then he's going to be able to duel people. So, even though Tick, Trick, and Duck had an awful start in this game, they've just picked up the Dragon. They're going to be engaging on this as well. Bonaparte's going to be solo flaring just Annie, but that's more than enough to keep them away. Now, Exile's trying his best to pick up the kill on Nightmare, but Snow is there in return. Can he pick up this kill himself? It looks very likely because here comes Sunny from the backside. Snow's taking so much damage, though, in the meanwhile. Gets excited for Sunny. He's got the red buff as well. This is a dead Sivir. Rest in peace. Double kill for Sunny. Moves on for 10 for 2.
The Tibbers at the beginning of that fight hit nothing. Nothing at all. Completely whiffed, and it meant that they couldn't lock anyone down for Exile, and that is the main point of their team fight, is they need that first kill from the stun. If they don't get it, there is no way that they will clean that team fight up. They picked up a kill later into the fight, but Exile went into Meditate after getting crowd controlled, so was still in the same position, and just ended up taking free damage. And he cannot meditate off the damage that Sunny is outputting right now, and they just cleaned him up.
So, we mentioned before about Last Whisper being picked up next. It was picked up about a minute and a half ago. So, already building towards the GA.
Yeah, that's heavily towards the GA as well.
24 minutes, nearly a GA complete with these items is unbelievably strong.
You can see Sivir is trying to replicate some of the damage that Jinx is trying to output. Phantom Joe's going to be surprised here by a second.
If this kill goes to Exile, they're going to be in pretty good shape, I have to say. The question is, do they have the movement speed to catch up to him? Both flashes coming out from Mozilla and Phantom Joe. Nice ward jump there, though, from Joe. This is buying up enough time for Nightmare to get through. It looks very, very bad now for Exile and Mozilla as the cavalry well and truly is in charge and full effect. Jump away from Mozilla. The counter-strike comes in from Phantom Joe. Parry from the backside as well. Just juggling the damage, but here comes Sivir. Both Jinx and Leona are way, way behind. This fight could be over by the time they manage to get into position, but actually looks as though they don't want to do that. They realize they're outnumbered, they realize they're outgunned, and they back away.
It was a very staggered fight from TTD. They had members, then they had the disadvantage on numbers, then they had it again, and without Sivir and Leona being there right in the mix of that fight, they don't really want to take a 4v3. It's not really in their interest to do so when they have pretty much they don't have control of the game in the sense of gold, but they definitely have control of the pace of the game, because you can tell SK are getting desperate. They were looking for that kill and chased it hard, and it ended up kind of paying off for them in the way that they got 2 kills out of it, but they also lost Exile for it.
And that, in a nutshell, is one of the strengths of Sivir, that she is a very hyper-mobile character that can get into positions quicker than Jinx can. And that was a case of just flanking around the outside faster than Jinx or Leona could react to it, and that's pretty much what made the team fight. If Jinx and Leona got there the same time as Sivir, that would probably have been an ace.
Yeah, I think that's probably, yeah.
Because Jinx would have just mopped everyone up. There's no doubt. She would have just cut through everybody like they weren't there.
Static Shift did get finished onto Sivir. That'll, of course, give her that last little piece of the puzzle to wave clear here as TTD, I imagine, will start ramping up their pressure a little bit more. They look to secure this Baron area.
They do, but in doing so, aggroed Baron for a bit. Flash Tibbers comes in. Bonaparte is the only person that's been caught from all of this. Solar Flare will lock down Annie for a little while. There's the Inferno Bomb and the Rocket as well, bouncing on top of one another. And now here comes Sunny. He's going to be destroying people from the backside. Flame Chompers will land on Mozilla. There's the first kill. Gets excited. Sunny will be flashing in with this red buff as well. It's not looking too good from the side of SK Gaming Prime. They've lost 2 members, one of which is their jungler, and this opens Baron up.
And this will be a very fast Baron here, with the damage Sunny's going to output and Jax as soon as Phantom Joe actually starts attacking. There we go. I don't know why SK would position for this.
They're going to have to juggle this damage very, very well, but Sunny, it's just doing so much damage, just constantly poking from the backside as Annie's going to fall. I guess the mentality is, okay, we lost Annie, but we stopped them getting Baron.
But
or
did they? Because Jax and Vi can do that too, man. fairly easily. Especially when Jax has a Blade of the Ruin King, you're going to deal percentage damage. You're going to deal so much damage so quickly that here comes the re-engage again. Bonaparte's very low. That's one thing they do have. That could be an easy target for Yi, and he knows it. They peeled away.
And he jumped in. Vi will be picking up the Baron right there before going down from Perry, who's now trying to go one better onto Snow. There's the Sonny's Hourglass popped off. Phantom Joe will be smashing down Evelyn. Beautiful rocket from Jinx to land onto Sivir. Gets the passive proc. Now going onto Mozilla. And suddenly in the blink of an eye, this game is looking very one-sided. Sonny picks up his triple kill.
And this is all Sunny this game. Those kills that were given to him in the bottom lane from that middle game period of time is just adding up so much right now. He's got the Guardian Angel completed. He's got his main damage items. He has everything that he needs to carry this game through. And SK aren't doing themselves any favors. They've lost 2 turrets at the same time across the map. And they haven't got anything really defensive to try and withstand some of this damage from Sunny. Not even 2 Randuin's Omens is doing it.
And we even said this before as well, when Perry got killed a couple of times, fairly needlessly. And we said they're giving away kills. And TikTok and Duck can come back from this. They can start to snowball their way back into this matchup, pick up kills on the right characters, which they've done with Sunny. And now he's 14-2, has finished the GA, has a BF sword as well. So that's going to be an Infinity Edge.
I mean, you only have to look at the comparison between the death the death scores on SK from now and how they were earlier in the game. They had kills onto Evelyn, they had kills on Yi, they had kills on Aatrox as well, but now they've got mostly deaths. 6 deaths on Sivir, 5 deaths on Yi, 5 deaths on an Evelyn that was an extremely fed 4-0 at one point.
5-0.
5-0.
I think. Was it 5-1? Either way, it was 5 and something, and now 7-5. That's massive. Solar Flare comes in along with the bomb, and another pick on the AD carry, so that is going to equate into this tower being lost. They may even try and push the inhibitor tower.
They may do. They've got Jax up in the top lane. That'll be able. Well, he'll be able to split push pretty effectively here. They have to commit everybody to dealing with Sunny because there's no way of dealing with him without everybody there. Exile, you can see, did almost no damage.
Yeah, we'll be going in onto Snow, who's popped this on his Hourglass. This is a 4 versus 4 situation with Jax at the top lane. Sunny's GA has been popped instantly. This could actually be huge for SK Gaming Prime because Sunny's going to go down instantly right after coming out of the GA. The shutdown in effect. 1-for-1 trade so far, but they're forced to put their tail between their legs and run away. Snow's still pretty big, though, and they definitely have to deal with that. Will be jumping in with his satchel charge, trying to finish off the kill onto Annie, but you can see there that Perry and Mozilla are both flashing up red. Meanwhile, Phantom Joe making short work of this inhibitor tower.
Yeah, he should be able to get this inhibitor. I don't think Svanillan has the damage to output it, but he's going to make sure he doesn't. Just wow. Okay. At first, I thought he was sending a message, and then he just one-shot him right at the end.
Yeah, he sent the message that you're a dead man, and then he kind of closed it off with a nice smack across the back of the head.
He sent the message to Sivir's parents.
Yeah, he did.
That was a dark joke. I apologize for that.
Wow.
Bottom lane.
Either way, Perry is getting crushed right now. That is a nice jump up from Mozilla. 6 is the only player to receive any damage from the Mega Inferno bomb. Nightmare's being chased out right now. Is he going to fall, however, from Mozilla? Ooh. Yes, he is. Just about. As the edge catches onto him. Oh, fail flash from Bonaparte. Unfortunate, and will fall down as a result.
Snow is still trying to get away. Doesn't have a lot of mana, though, so this one might be all she wrote.
Does have Jinx coming, though. And can he weaken them enough to get Jinx involved? No. That is going to be another shutdown for Aatrox.
Then you think that this is all taking up time for Jax once again. And we saw how Sivir and Jax went last time. Jax isn't going to commit to it. It doesn't need to. Already got that inhibitor down. So they're just going to leave this one, regroup, buy items, and get themselves back into a strong position.
Yeah, they just basically go back, pick up items, and come back stronger than ever. Warden's Mail on Jax, more than likely going to turn itself into a Randuin's Omen. And then they're going to have 2 of them. In fact, 3 of them. Wow. Leona and Fire both picked up one apiece.
That's a lot of Randuins.
A lot of slow. And it makes a lot of sense. Look who they're against. Heavy, melee, AD team.
Yep.
That's pretty much Randuin's Omen, the best item ever. 3 of them.
I got to agree with you. Yeah, Nothing else to say about that, to be honest. It's just going to apply so many slows that SK have found themselves a couple of good team fights in the last couple of minutes. The problem is they've been in situations where TTD have been outnumbered. I don't know how much TTD are going to do that again.
That's true. It's when Jax was top, and he doesn't need to be anymore because that inhibitor's dead.
Yeah.
So they can afford to pretty much push bot together, hope the super minions push at top, and then make plays off that. So completely agree with you. I think in a 5v5 fight right now, TTD are way ahead.
Just a case of getting there. You can see Jinx is spending a lot of time in alternative lanes as well. So they kind of... Well, the thing is they don't need to group if they aren't fighting. So it's one of those cases of if they do choose to fight, they really should be grouped. Baron is up in just over a minute's time as well. So look for them to pressure a tower, really push in hard, get as many lanes pushing, and then rotate out towards that Baron. But maybe they're looking for a bottom inhibitor tower to begin it off.
Yeah, Aatrox is top lane, still recalling. So looks like going to try and make some plays. Butterpot's way ahead of the rest of his team, though. And he could pay for this. He's been chunked down pretty heavy, and that could actually stop the onslaught, because they need Leona to basically peel for Sunny.
The other problem they've got is if SK do pick up one kill, and if it is Sunny, they can just get the resets from Highlander to really clean up a team fight. So TTD have got to be careful that they don't play overly aggressive and really just give something away for free.
That's very true. But I think they are waiting for those super minions. They're very aware of the fact that Aatrox has to deal with this. In doing so, they're going to all engage. This actually could be the end of the game if they get an ace here. That's Jax jumping in onto Annie. Perry is now the next person in contention to fall down. That's the Assault on Battery on top of Perry forcing back. In fact, it wasn't. It was Jax jumping in there with the Leap Strike and the Counter Strike afterwards. Mozilla has been popped into his passive. Will get shut down from Vi. So far, it's a 1-for-2 trade with Jinx going huge. Will take down the kill onto the opposition AD carry of Sivir. There goes the inhibitor. This is probably going to be game.
And it will be game. That's going to be the Nexus turrets going down. Super minions were already on that through the duration of the fight. Inhibitors back up in the top lane. Doesn't even matter. They've taken down the bottom. That is going to be the game going to Tick, Trick, and Duck, who will even this series up 1 game apiece.
How to carry as Jinx 101.
Yeah.
A story by Sunny. 15-3. Almost full item build. In fact, it was full item build. The only thing you could pretty much add there is Home Guard boots or Zephyr.
Yep.
The rest of it is just exactly what you'd want. I can't even put into words how much Sunny just carried his team.
Yeah, especially when you consider how far behind they were early. They dropped a lot of kills in the top and mid. Got focused down quite a bit there as well. And Sunny just picked up a good couple of kills when they needed it and ended up running away with that one. And that's what Jinx does. That's what Jinx does when she doesn't have the danger of getting locked down.
Yeah, very, very true. So we are going to be jumping into the third game very shortly, ladies and gents. So we're going to cut to a pretty short break, I think.
Yes, we will.
Let the players have a bit of a break as well. So we should be back in around 5 minutes. So don't touch that mouse and we'll be back very shortly.